Sonne, thank you so much for coming in.
Pleasure's mine.
Appreciate your time. For the benefit of myself and our audience, could you introduce yourself? Who you are, what you do.
My name is Sonne. I am... Let's see my age and stuff.
No.
I was like, kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
I've done quite a couple of things. Right now, I've actually just started a mushroom coffee business.
Cool.
So been trying to like do some discovery, get it off the ground. Mushroom coffee is not like magic mushrooms. It's like medicinal mushrooms, herbal mushrooms. Prior to that, I was a PM, so I worked in tech for most of my career. But how I got into tech was kind of strange. I was actually a fashion student in school.
Okay.
So I went to college in the States. I wanted to be a fashion dude. And I think within my first semester, I realized it's not really like my thing.
Okay.
So I switched to like a more broad degree. And then just so happens like tech was the industry that wanted me. And I just kind of like rolled in tech until, so I've been laid off twice now.
Okay.
Once during COVID, once during tech winter last year. So it was kind of like trying to figure out what I wanted to do on my own. And I landed on mushroom.
I love that. Okay, so I'm gonna digest this. You've given me a good
Little biography.
timeline and a journey, because I'll start with obviously going all the way to the States to study fashion and realizing very quickly in your first semester that's not what you want to do.
Yeah.
That already is a big thing to figure out. There's a lot of people who would have gone to uni, figured out that they actually don't like what they're doing, but had no choice but to continue what they're doing, maybe because of their parents, maybe because of the stigma of I can't fail and I just have to push through because I know that this is the career I need to go in to be successful. You switching your degree, figuring out that, okay, this is something I enjoy and I'm good at and probably have a good career in, and then being laid off twice to then figuring out, what do I do next? What do I do next now for me in order to thrive, to be happy, to be fulfilled, to be successful? Wow. That's already a journey in itself. Yet you're here, you're smiling, you're happy, which is the most important thing. The journey will still continue, obviously, but I guess tell me, throughout what you've just shared with me, what were your challenges? What were your criticisms? What were your successes? Because all these things obviously have developed you to who you are right now to be able to do what you're doing.
So I think like one thing you mentioned, which is actually quite interesting because it might almost be the opposite. So I think this fear of failure and like, you know, wanting to do right by your parents, wanting to do well in school, especially, you know, you've gone all the way there, that probably prompted my degree switch. Like it was quite a big factor.
Great. Sorry, parents were supportive?
Parents are just like, just don't mess up.
Okay.
Can I swear?
Yes, of course. You do you.
Yeah. That's just like, they're just like, you know, don't mess up. And so, I was not a good student for most of my time in Singapore. I kind of had this, in retrospect, too large of a burden that I placed on my own shoulders. Like, I can't mess up. I need to maximize. I need to be a top student. Like, I did not go out while living in New York City for my entire first year. Because I was like, I can't go down that path again. I need to turn over a new leaf. I had this whole like, you know, made up story about what is success, what is a good person, how you should be. Did it pay off? Perhaps. I was quite, I will like acknowledge that I was quite an overachiever in college. I did pretty well in most areas, extracurricular, internships, academics, all of it kind of lined up. But I'd say like in terms of the challenges that kind of came, on a personal level, one of the big things which kind of like made me quite a different person was, so in this like, I need to achieve everything, I need to do everything mindset, I became a bit of a dick. I was quite like, it was like, real like, grind now, like hustle hard, like I bought too much into this like hustle culture that I thought New York was all about, that I thought success was all about. And that translated to weird things. So the kind of big turnaround for me was after I got elected as like president for my school, I became a dictator. And
A dictator.
yes, a dictator, exactly.
Yes.
And so it came to a point where like my board, my fellow peers, there was a real like mutiny. Like
They voted you off the island.
they tried to vote me off the island. And I don't mean this jokingly. Like,
Sure.
for the first time in the college's history, they tried to impeach a student president.
Yes.
And, you know, there are a bunch of things that went into this that I won't, you know, spare you the details. But one of my really close friends, who was also on the board, came into my office and she was like crying. Just like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, sure, there are some people who like didn't support you and like, you know, some people who didn't really want you to be president. But like, dude, you're already president. Like this, don't be like this.
Yes.
And it kind of like, it really kind of like opened up my eyes because like she was someone who's always been on my side. And to see her like crying over me for something so silly, like,
Yeah.
even at that point, I was like, it was like, dude, this is just like, like student government. Like, I'm like, well, who cares? Why do I care?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think from there, I kind of like, whoa, okay, I need to tone down. Kind of like readjusted, tried to find a space where I'm still like, you know, pursuing success, but I'm also pursuing being a good person. Now, post-graduate, now if in terms of like not personal struggles, when it came to like professional struggles, things happened really quickly in terms of like hiccups. So my first job actually was in fashion. For 5 months, I worked at Brooks Brothers as a global brand manager.
Nice.
And the problem was that they refused to give me any certainty on sponsoring my work visa. They were kind of just like, I don't know, we'll see how it goes, which was I don't even know how to explain this, but it was probably like a misunderstanding. I interviewed with my direct supervisor, the director of my department, and another director from another department. That was my interview process. But the VP of brand management didn't speak to me until I was hired. And he's in charge of the budget. So because he couldn't give me the certainty, and I was like, shit, I've got like a 1-year work visa as a student. That's when I was like, okay, who's going to take me? And I started looking around pretty desperately. It was quite a wake up because in retrospect, perhaps at that point I was like, I'm hot shit. Like I can do whatever I want. So fortunately, through like a mentor, he introduced me to one of his friends who was running this new startup. And so he took me on and he was like, okay, visa was sorted. Cool, perfect. And that's how I kind of stumbled into being a PM in tech, which in retrospect was actually also a very big moment in my career. Now working in a startup as a PM who didn't really know shit about tech with all these like real techies was a bit of an adjustment. I think that was a great experience in terms of just picking up useful skills, meeting good people. And then COVID happened and my boss went into this like, okay, we actually don't know what's going to happen. So we're probably going to have to like, you know, either lay off or retrench. Like, what is it? There was another thing, I forgot what Americans called it. It's like, you're not fired.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
The word.
Yeah, New York did it very famously.
Yes. And it was...
Furlough.
Furlough, yes.
Furlough.
If you're furloughed, legally actually, as a foreign employee, you have no reason to be in the country.
Yes.
So that was a bit of a mess, coupled with the fact that I bought in and I thought the world was going to end.
Oh, okay.
I really did.
Okay.
So I came back to Singapore and, you know, I like shipped everything back. So when I was back in Singapore, there was a bit of a disconnect, like quite a big disconnect with like who I was, what I was doing, being cooped up. You know, I couldn't really like see the friends that I've had who could kind of like, you know, ground me. I was like, all right, let me try and see what I could do. And I knew Dennis. So that's actually how we started working together, because he was like, I met him in New York and he was like, dude, just work with me. Like, we'll figure something out.
Yes.
I don't really care what it is, but we'll figure out a way to work together. And that kind of like gave me a nice little like, okay, like I have a place, I can still figure things out here. Eventually, me and Dennis kind of had different visions on how we wanted to develop the business. So we just parted, it's chill. And then I was like, okay, shit, now I need, like, I was definitely not ready to do my own thing. I need to find a job. What can I do? I have zero work experience in Singapore. I have this like strange gap in my, resume. And I managed to find a pretty cool job.
Okay.
Yeah, I managed to find a pretty cool job working as PM again for a product management consultancy based in Singapore. And that was also another like really nice win, after obviously I went through a couple of months of like applying, cold, strange moments. And then, despite how fun this experience was, and it was really fun, like it was a fully remote job. My boss lived in Bali, so I spent like half the year in Bali.
Nice.
They decided that, with the tech winter, we wanted to shut down the entire business because they couldn't get new business to come in. Recurring clients were like stopping their budgets. And so now my first like really happy professional gig kind of ended. Also, again, I couldn't do anything about it. Like if I messed up, it's easier to kind of like, take it in. But I was like, okay, I'm going to be like 30. Like, what do I want to do with my life? And I think a lot of the LinkedIn posts that I saw, I don't want to say I got influenced. Yeah. I got influenced because there are a lot of like employees at even big tech companies who are like, yo, I've spent like 20 years, 25 years at these companies and so I was like, the job market isn't looking good. I could probably find my way into some other job. Like my ex-bosses were really supportive, like their networks were fully extended. I did interview at a couple of places and, they were pretty lucrative offers. But I tried to figure out like, maybe I can do something on my own. Maybe this is the time. It's called like no responsibilities-ish. Not too old, not too young. Just felt like the thing to do. And so I wasted about 7 months trying to find myself.
Not wasted. You were finding yourself, Yeah.
And we actually reached a point when this is towards the end of last year where I was like, fuck. Like, I need to like improve my focus. I need to like lock in. So I was Googling for ways to like get focus and lock in. And I found mushroom coffee. That's how I found mushroom coffee. And so I started to order it from a lot of US-based brands. And this got really expensive. And I was like, can I make my own? Try making my own. It's okay. I'll look at it. Can I sell it? Now, we haven't proven that yet. I know I can make my own.
Yes.
Can I sell it? I don't know. But we'll see.
But again, the new journey is beginning. So I love that. You've given me a great synopsis of everything you've had to go through. Ups, downs, challenges, everything that was not in your control. I love the small win because those are important. Those wins are the ones that help us along the way. Your parents, by and large, were very supportive of you because it seems like they just wanted you to just be successful in your own way. Yes.
I think that's fair.
Right? I mean,
at times maybe the support was not easily felt.
Okay. That's okay.
But for the most part, I think in their own way,
Yeah, especially from that generation, for
Yes.
example. But even your friends, like you said, your friend that came into the office crying and was like, what the hell? Like things like that, like the loved ones in your life that are
Yeah.
there for you in one way, shape, or form.
Yep.
So you've had a lot of ups and downs, and there's going to be a lot more still going. It's funny you mentioned at 30 you were trying to figure out who you are and what you want to do, because that's exactly what Trish said. She said she hit 30 and she was like, what am I doing? What do I want to do? And and that was great. And I love how you said you're not old, you're not young. You're at that time right now where you can do things, you can try. You can always fall back, like you said. In 5 years' time, you can always fall back and go back and get a job and work for someone.
Yeah.
But right now, that's not what you want to do. Right now, you want to work for yourself because you want to make the decisions. You want to be in control of, have I failed?
Correct.
Have I lost this job because of my own inability?
Only I would lay myself.
That's right. Yes. And you can deal with that because that's for you to internalize and go, okay, I tried, it didn't work, so I will lay myself off.
Yes.
And do I start something else new, or do I jump back into the workforce, whatever game it needs to happen? Because end of the day, again, me and Trish were having a chat about it. We still need to earn a living. We still need to do what we need to do to live the life we want to live. But if we're able to do a few things and able to figure it out, great. So you've had a lot of challenges. You've had a bit of criticism. You've had success throughout this whole journey, looking back at everything thus far. Would there be anything you would change, or what were the biggest learning curves? I think you've touched upon a few.
Yeah.
But just as a quick kind of pinpoint,
When you say change, do you mean like things I would have done differently? Or?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, hindsight is a gift, right? But yeah.
I think a quick one that comes to mind that I've thought about quite a lot already is kind of knowing the game that I'm playing. So when I think about my first official my first visa sponsorship in the US, now if I was really locked in about wanting to work in the US, which I thought I was, but it was also kind of like, I want to be successful, I want to learn interesting things, I want to do cool stuff. I'm not saying that you can't have both, but if I really wanted to stay in the US, I should have prioritized working at a really stable big company where, for lack of a better phrase, even if I'm a cog in the machine, they have the infrastructure and organization to support a foreign employee easily. There's no back and forths about, we've never sponsored someone before, how do we do this? So I think something like that, if assuming at that point, and truthfully at that point, that was my goal. I wanted to stay in the US. But perhaps it was even before that, it's kind of figuring out what did I really want. Did I want to stay in the US? Did I want to, go for a moonshot? What was I really after? Because I think I was kind of just trying to get the best of everything. And, sometimes it works. Yeah. Sometimes it works, but...
Or sometimes you try to get the best of everything, but you actually get nothing.
Exactly.
Because, like I said, your focus wasn't quite there, and you're depending on one thing, this one variable to happen for you to get this next thing done, and then if it doesn't, nothing's happening. Because there's no progress in that sense. Yeah. I like that, though. And I like that you have thought about it. When I asked you, I thought about it a lot, and you could pinpoint it, which is great. And I guess my last question would be, what is success to you? You've had a little bit of success here and there. You're now starting something new, which is great. I love it. I would love to try some mushroom coffee, by the way. Yes, okay. But for you, how do you define success?
I think first and foremost, I am quite materialistic at times. So there is some level of financial success that's involved.
No worries.
But I think maybe it's a bit of age, maybe it's a bit of just experience. There is a certain longing for community. Community and building up the people around me, growing with them. I think I didn't get it when I was younger. I didn't get it, but now I kind of like really understand this idea of like, if you want to go fast,
Yes.
you go alone. You want to go far, go with a team.
Yeah.
I think, due to like various stuff that happened growing up, I didn't really have a lot of trust in people. I didn't really feel like that was the vibe. But now, vibe or not, that's what I want.
Yes.
I want to get there.
You can create that vibe.
That's part of the success. And I think it's also about like wanting to do something cool. Like something like good, I feel like it's just, maybe I'm immature. Maybe I'm immature. But there's this like feeling of like, I want to do something cool in this world. I want to like make a positive change. Even if it's just for like, a very small group of people. I just want to have some kind of impact. And I know it's a bit different from some of my peers who are like, they really don't give a fuck about like what impact they have. They're like, have a good living, take care of the family, enjoy life outside of work. And I think if that's what you want, do it.
Absolutely.
Maybe one day that'll be me. Hopefully, I don't know, but at this moment, it's about kind of waking up with excitement, feeling passionate about what I'm doing, being around people that I care about, and buying nice things.
Yes. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. You got to be happy.
Yep.
You got to be fulfilled, and you need to do you to do that.
Yeah.
Of course, 100%. I would love you to join my men's circle when we start doing that.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what you said about creating this community, being part of community, vibing, and learning and growing together. So
I'm down.
Okay, I'm gonna invite you for that, brother. Thank you so much for
appreciate it,
sharing your story and being very honest and very truthful, which I think it's very refreshing.
Appreciate it.
You came out here and you let all out. Thank you.